how do you effectively visualize and communicate the insights that you've derived from the last data sets to the non-technical stakeholders?
So we could spend a day on this subject, right?
So I know it's a big challenge for a lot of
Volumes
business.
have been written on this subject, but I'll throw out two quotes I often use with people, right? Is the Nobel laureate Herbert Simon, essentially said that a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention, right? So a wealth of information creates a poverty of attention, and I think it's a very important point, right? Which it speaks to the need for curating data that is specific to answer the question that one is tasked with, right? And it requires a discipline in this day and age to do that. The second piece is a quote from David Thoreau, and I like it because I'm also an art buff, right? I go to museums in New York City, and I keep thinking about this every time I look at a Monet or a Picasso, right? It's not what you look at; it's ultimately what you see, right? And this is fundamentally why visualization is important in analytics, right? Because visualization transforms the ability of somebody to look at data and to see a bigger picture in it, right? And that combined with curation and integration is what really leads to effective storytelling, right? And so what I try to do and what I work with my team to do often is really question, number one, is the question correct? Because you don't want a great story if the plot itself is off the rails, right? So is the question correct? And if the question is correct, what is the purpose of the narrative or the story that we're developing? Then what is the minimum amount of data we need to stay within the purpose that we're after, right? And these are all very logical steps to effective storytelling, and then closing the story with impact, right? Why should somebody listen to your story? Why should I read a novel? And so the closure is very important, and I think that's what really gets you credibility with your stakeholder, and really democratizes the analytics process and the data journey from where it starts.
Yeah. No, I think impact is the big word, isn't it? I mean, you've got to often show value because and that's if you want to make leaps forward, you need to be doing that because you've got some shiny tool. It's not going to make the ROI. That's going to make an impact. It's not really going to be worthwhile, isn't it? Really, when there's maybe another way you could make such a drastic change to the business.
Yep, and I think the 4 I's, like I say, is you start with inputs, you go into interpretability, that takes you then to insights, and the insights take you to impact, right? That is the connection really from a business stakeholder standpoint on data into analytics, right? And it's very important for us ultimately to recognize what is that higher order purpose for which we engage with data and analytics, right? And it's becoming a very big issue, as you know, with AI here, right? Interpretability, explainability, responsibility, all of them have that linkage. So this is not going to be a very easy journey, but it's a very challenging and fascinating journey that I hope a lot of the folks listening to this, as well as as I tell my young talent, I'm very envious of them because the challenges are overwhelming, but the adventure is just fascinating. That they'll be able to dabble with all of these new challenges with new technologies, and it's great, right?
Yeah. I guess obviously from the stakeholder's point of view, he's going to or she will want. They've got a million one things they've got to deliver on. So you've for their time, you've got to stand out, haven't you? Really, you've got to be offering that value. Look, let's do this. If we do this, look, we're going to make massive change to the business because what they see is they want to see main thing is to increase profit, save or cost savings. Really, isn't it? It's efficiencies, and if to do that, you need to be showing that because if not, the budget will have to get spent elsewhere, wouldn't it?
Correct. And there's three elements I think that are important: efficiency, which speaks to the bottom line, effectiveness, which speaks to the top line, and accountability, which speaks to return on investments. And if you have a recommendation, you as a good analytics professional, you should be able to back that recommendation up with metrics and KPIs. Right? There's an accountability, competency that is fundamental to analytics. That is why analytics is a very objective exploration into making recommendations, right? So delivering analytics without an associated accountability is just analytics.
Yeah, cool. And I think yes, especially a lot of people can get lost, like because there's so much to be done. And I think you've seen it last year with Gen AI. A lot of businesses thought Gen AIs go down that path, when actually maybe like another model would have been a more cost-effective solution.
Yeah, and then Gen AI, we're in the experimental phase, right?
Yeah,
We've
exactly.
still got
Yeah.
ways to go there. Like, I'm very excited about, for example, synthetic data, right? Where you can synthesize actual data. Now, whether we can use it or not, obviously depends on compliance and legal regulations at enterprises. But we traditionally have used things like lookalike modeling and things like that, right? Where you want to kind of go beyond your data and find future customers. Synthetic data actually allows you to get to databases without compromising sensitive information, which none of us wants to do, by going beyond a trained data set, but maintaining the patterns in that trained data set and generating new information, which increases your sample points for an analytic exercise. So there's a lot of great stuff coming down the pike on generative AI. Still early, but it's exciting nevertheless.